Hi class, it's Mrs. Piper. Today we're going to talk about probability using Study Guide Worksheet 4.8. So let's look at the example of rolling a dice. If you roll a cube with the numbers 1 through 6 on the faces, because you know a cube has 6 different sides, there are 6 possible outcomes. You can have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6. Each of the outcomes is equally likely to occur. A particular outcome, such as rolling a 5, is what we call an event. So an outcome is the same thing as an event. Okay, probability is the chance that that event will occur. And we talked in class about when we were hoping that it would snow the first time. We watched the weather, and the weatherman would give us, it's a 90% chance that it is going to snow tomorrow. Well, the probability of it snowing was 90%. Okay, so the way that you figure out probability is you create a ratio with the number of ways an event can occur over the number of possible outcomes. Okay, so rolling a 5 can occur one way out of 6 possible outcomes. So the probability, that's what that P stands for right there, the probability of rolling a 5 is 1 out of 6. Okay, let's look at another example. Don't want to do that. Suppose ping pong balls there, you have a box of ping pong balls and they're numbered 1 through 25. So here's my box, and I've got 25 ping pong balls. That is 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And they're all numbered. Okay? So, the probability of drawing a 12. Let's look at that first. Okay? If I reach my hand into the box, my probability of picking a 12, because there's only one 12, is 1 out of 25. And the P over here stands for probability. Okay, the probability of getting a 12 is 1 out of 25. Okay, I have 25 different balls and there's 112 in there. Okay, the probability of drawing an odd number. So first I have to figure out how many odd numbers there are in the box. Well, there's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25. There are 13 balls with an odd number. So the probability of drawing an odd number is 13 out of 25. There's 13 odd numbers. And there's 25 possible numbers. Okay? All right, I've moved the worksheet down. Now let's look at the examples that are on the worksheet. The spinner is equally likely to stop on each of the regions. Okay, so here's our spinner. And there are 8 regions. Okay, and it's equally likely to stop if you gave the arrow a spin on any of the 8 regions. Okay, so what is the probability that we will find a number that we will spin a number less than 5? So first we want to look over here and we want to count how many numbers are less than 5. So we could have a 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1. So my probability of getting a number less than 5 is 4/8, 4 out of 8 of them are less than 5. I can reduce that to 1/2. And if I change that to a percent, we know that 1/2 is equal to 50%. So I have a 50% chance of spinning a number less than 5. All right, how about a prime number? Well, you have to remember that a prime number is a number that factors are only 1 in itself. Okay, so 2 is a prime number, 3 is a prime number, 5 is a prime number, and 7 is a prime number. Okay, so that says that I have a 4 out of 8 chance for spinning a prime number, which is also equal to 1/2, which is also equal to 50% chance. I have a 50% chance of spinning a prime number. Okay, now let's look at a factor of 8. Okay, all my numbers that I can multiply together to get 8 are factors. So 1, 2, 4, and 8. Again, I have a 4 out of 8 chance of getting a factor of 8, which is equal to 1/2, which is also equal to 50%. All right, let's move back up here. I see I didn't go in number order, but that's okay. All right, my chance of getting an even number, okay? My even numbers on the spinner are 2, 4, 6, 8. So again, I have a 4 out of 8 chance for getting an even number, which is also equal to 1/2, which is also equal to 50%. All right, next one, a multiple of 4, okay? So our only multiples of 4 on the spinner are 4 and 8. I can multiply 4 by 1 and I can multiply 4 by 2 to get 8. So our answer is going to change this time. This time I have a 2 out of 8 chance of getting a multiple of 4, which equals 1/4, which is equal to 25%. So how did I know that 1/4 was equal to 25%? I memorized them when we made flashcards in the fall. Okay, if you haven't memorized yours, then you need to pull those cards out or make some new ones and work on memorizing your common percents. All right, last one in this section, probability of getting a 7, and I'm going to do it over here. Well, there's only one 7 on the spinner, so your probability is 1 out of 8. That cannot be reduced. Okay, and I know that 1/8 is equal to 0.125 as a decimal. And to change that into a percent, a decimal into a percent, I'm going to move the decimal 1, 2 places, 1, 2. So that is equal to 12.5%. Okay. All right, our last section of the worksheet. A drawer contains 4 blue socks, 8 black socks, and 10 white socks. 10 white socks. If one sock is taken out of the drawer without looking, find the probability that each of the following would be drawn. So the first thing is I want to figure out my total number of socks. So I'm going to add all the socks together, 4 plus 8 plus 10, and my total is 22 socks. Okay, so my probability of getting a blue sock, well, there is 4 blue socks in the drawer, and there is 22 socks total, so 4 out of 22, which I can reduce to 2/11ths. And if I divide, 2/11ths is not one of the common fractions that we have memorized as a percent or a decimal, so I divide 2 by 11 and I get 18%. All right, the next problem, we're finding the probability of pulling a black sock out of a drawer. Okay, there's 8 black socks. We see that right here. So the probability of drawing a black sock is 8 out of 22 because there's 22 socks in the drawer. Okay, we have already reduced 8 22s. No, that was 4 22s. So we're going to reduce 8 over 22 to 4 11ths. And then I'm going to change 4 11ths to a percent. I can use my calculator. I divide 4 by 11 and I get 0.36. And then I change that to a percent by moving the decimal place over 2 to the right. So I have a 36% chance of drawing a black sock out of the drawer. All right, let's look at our white socks next. Okay, we have 10 white socks. There's 22 in the drawer. So the probability of drawing a white sock is 10 out of 22. That reduces to 5 11ths. I divide using my calculator, 5 divided by 11, and I come up with 0.45 repeating. I move the decimal place 2 to the right, and that turns into 46%. Okay, and it changes to 46% because I round it. Okay, 5 or more, you have to add 1 more. All right, number 10. Okay, we have 4 blue and we have 8 black. So my probability of drawing a blue or a black sock out of the drawer, I'm going to put that over here, is 12. I add them together, 12 out of 22 total. Okay, 12 over 22 reduces to 6 11ths. I can use my calculator because this isn't one that we have memorized, and I come up with 0.54 when I divide 6 by 11, and that changes to 54% when I move the decimal over 2 places to the right. All right, hopefully you're getting the hang of this a little bit. You can go ahead and stop the video, try 11 and 12 on your own, and then turn the video back on and I will explain it for you. All right, here we go. Number 11. I have 8 black socks and 10 white socks. So that gives me 18 over 22. I have my chance of getting a black or a white sock is 18 out of 22. That reduces to 9 over 22. When I divide it on the calculator, I get 0.81. Repeating, which changes to 81%. All right, and our last one, 4 blue socks or probability of drawing a blue sock or a white sock. Well, I have 4 blue socks and I have 10 white socks, so my probability is 14 out of 22, which reduces to 7 11ths. When I divide, I get 0.63. Repeating, and that changes to 63%. All right, now that we've finished our notes on probability, you can go ahead and get out your homework and give that a try.